Yep, it is late. I just got in out of the rain. Nevertheless, there is much rant to be had. So, here are my 2 cents regarding two subjects, or rather two incidences, that revolve around music that have happened recently. I thought, fuck it, why not? Let's make them both part of the same video. So, without further ado, let's commence. First off, for those of you who may or may not have heard, recently the singer of the band Story So Far kicked a girl in the back, drop-kicked her off the stage just for taking a selfie. This happened in Canada, I believe, and I think it happened last week or something. Anyway, I'm going to leave a link to the video and the article in the description below. And what do I think about this? Well, not that the girl could have picked a better spot. Not that the girl couldn't have picked a better spot, more like for a selfie. Not exactly the best idea, not exactly the smartest idea in the world, you know, to take a selfie on the stage while the band is playing. But the guy, the singer of the band, really could have handled that so much better. For example, tapping them on the shoulder. Sorry, do you mind? I'm trying to play a show here. No. What does he do? He kicks the girl, let me reiterate, the girl off the stage, in the back. What a fucking tough guy. Yeah, way to go to treat the fucking fans who actually paid to come and see your shitty band. And, you know something, it's not like this person, it's not like this girl was like deliberately trying to make a nuisance, she was just having a good time. Granted, she was doing it in the wrong place. Someone should have probably told her to move along. Security should have probably got her off this stage, put her back in the crowd. Granted, she was kind of in the wrong. But for a fully grown man to kick what I believe to be a teenage girl, I think she was teenage, don't quote me on that, but to kick a fucking teenage girl in the back, mate, you're a fucking piece of shit. Especially that this is a fan who's simply supporting your band. I mean, yeah, so brave. So fucking hard you are to fucking kick a girl in the back, you fucking douchebag. And I would have thought that we would have learned from the whole Randy Blythe incident, which, by the way, the difference between this and the Randy Blythe incident is the fact that Randy Blythe never actually pushed that kid off stage. The kid was highly intoxicated. Randy literally tapped him on the shoulder and said, sorry, do you mind? I'm basically trying to play a show here. You're kind of interfering. What any artist should do in a situation like that. He handled it right. And the kid, being as intoxicated as he was, just fell off the stage, hit his head and died. Tragic. But nevertheless, Randy Blythe ended up spending God only knows how many months in a Czech prison for the crime that he did not commit. This guy, first of all, the girl that he kicked, luckily didn't sustain any injuries. But this guy is a shining example of how something like this can just go fucking terribly wrong. This is a perfect example of how the Randy Blythe incident, if it was done intentionally. This guy is doing what Randy Blythe didn't do, and doing it intentionally. That didn't make a whole lot of sense, but hey, you get my meaning. The other thing that recently surfaced on the internet that I had to react to was the recent incident, even more recent than the whole Story So Far Frontman incident that happened, I think, a couple of days ago, don't quote me on that, in Russia. And this is revolving around the band Belphegor. Belphegor arrived in an airport in Russia where they were greeted with much hostility from members of the Russian Orthodox Church, I think. But these guys were extremists, right-wing bigots, and one of them basically spat in the face of the lead singer. Russia is a country that is basically no stranger to showing hostility towards metal bands and metal culture as a whole. Only a decade ago, the country banned emo and goth culture. Now it's having the same attitude towards metal. So, what do I think of this whole ordeal? Firstly, not representative of all Russians, and not representative of all people who subscribe to the, the Orthodox belief. But, obviously, these shitheads couldn't respect the fact that this band was simply here to play a show to fans from Russia, in Russia, who obviously wanted to see this band. Now, more than anything, there's not really much to be said about the Orthodox right-wingers who did this, who basically acted like dicks towards them in the airport. Granted, what they did is fucking stupid. It's fucking inappropriate. And I think the best thing for these people is to be put in their fucking place and get punched in the fucking face one of these days. You don't fucking spit in someone's face when they haven't antagonised you. That's one of the lowest of the low. But what I will say mostly on this subject is how well the band handled it. The band kept their cool throughout the entire ordeal. They made their way out of the airport. There was barely any violence. And I think part of keeping a cool head was the band realising that they're in Russia and it's the last place you really want to get in trouble with the law. I mean, these guys, these Orthodox bigots, these arseholes, like it or not, the Russian government has their back. And Russia is one of the worst places in the world, basically, to get in trouble with the law. What they must have been thinking was, okay, so we're in Russia. The best thing we can do is keep our cool, not give these guys a piece of our mind, like I'm sure they wanted to. I mean, there are people who have been reacting to it saying, oh my god, why didn't they take those guys apart? Why didn't they fucking hit back at those arseholes that were spitting on them? Well, if you ask me, they handled it the right way. If they got violent, it wouldn't have ended well for the band. So they literally kept their cool, walked out the airport with one of the members of Nile, who they were touring with, basically keeping a distance, keeping sort of like a barrier between them and the Orthodox right-wing bigots who are behind it. My point is, this sort of thing needs to basically stop. Bands getting harassed just for playing the music they play, and fans getting harassed for the music they listen to, is something that needs to come to a fucking end real soon. Nevertheless, kudos to the members of Belphegor for basically handling the situation well. And these bigots, they can go fuck themselves. That's all I have to say on that subject. Anyway, I'm going to call it a night, early morning. So, thanks for watching. Thank you for sticking around. And see you in the next video. Peace out.